So now we're going to go ahead and show you how to install your saddle on your post with a one-piece clamp, cradle, and stanchion. So definitely would recommend using some fiber grip here on the seat rails, especially on titanium or chromoly. They're a fairly hard surface, and the silica in the fiber grip just allows it to get a better hold on the rails. You have less problems with potential slipping or creaking and that kind of thing. The other thing that we've done here is we've pre-lubed all of the hardware with some anti-seize compound, and so that's what we recommend here. This is a copper-based stuff that you can get from most auto parts stores. Putting that on all the hardware really prevents creaks and squeaks. It also properly lubricates the threads and gives you proper torque setting. So that's real important. You want both these bolts to be torqued very evenly. So we'll go ahead and pop this on. I've unthreaded the bolts most of the way so I can slide this in, and it just makes it a little bit easier to set it up that way. Use a 5mm. In this case, we're going to use a ratchet. It makes it a lot easier to run them up. So if you want to use that, you can. Otherwise, just a standard 5mm 90 works as well. But you can use these just to run it up. And I'm putting my finger up above on those barrel nuts, kind of holding them in position. That makes it a lot easier to run them up close. Once you get most of the slop out of it, then they'll hold themselves into the spot on the upper clamp. You can also kind of push a little bit of weight down on the saddle opposite the side that you're tightening the bolt on, and that basically pulls everything into position and keeps it from popping out. Now, a couple things. One is saddle position. Generally speaking, you'll want to get a fairly flat and level saddle position. Keep in mind that if you're setting up a full suspension bike, you're going to drop into the travel, set your little bit of sag there, and when you do, generally that's going to slacken your seat angle and raise the nose up. So when you're setting this up static on the ground, you may want to nose your saddle down slightly from where you normally would, so that your squish bike has a level saddle when you sit on it. For hardtails, it's not really an issue. Just go ahead and set them up level. Okay, so get your saddle set wherever you'd like it on the rail, and then just as I get it hand tight, I like to kind of give it a little tap or a wiggle, and that seats everything in good. Give it just one last little turn to get rid of the slack in it. Now what I'm going to do is change over to my torque wrench, and so for the steel bolts, they're going to be 10 Newton meter. Titanium bolts are going to be 8 Newton meter, and what's important here is to make sure you torque them evenly. So you can see I'm working my way front and back. Okay, that one just clicked. Come back here. Make sure you get that socket in there properly, all the way in. Okay, so that one's tight. We go back to the other one. Okay, we go back one more time. Okay, so now you can go ahead and ride the bike. I'd probably get a few rides on it, and then after that I'd come back and just bring your torque wrench back in and recheck the torque on it. Like I said, torque is very important on these. If they're evenly torqued, you're not going to have any slipping or any noise. If they're unevenly torqued, you can have the saddle move or have creaking or squeaking while you're out riding. So that does it for installing the saddle.